although I would say, you know, if you're definitely talking emergency situations or groups of horses, they'll move quite similarly to cattle. If you keep that kind of slow movement, kind of direct them that way. But more people are probably going to end up doing one-on-one interactions with horses. So we're going to do some of that. We'll move them around somewhat as groups too when we get them in different places and kind of set up different scenarios for you guys. But we'll go here real quick and kind of review our morning part. So this little horse here, how would we describe this little horse? What do we have here? A sorrel? Or a chestnut, depending on what breed she might be. Okay. So she has a brand on her left thigh, so she's a 060. That's not going to be a farm brand, so nobody is the 060 ranch, so this is just for her identification purposes. I might have gave away something already. What sex is it? A mare. But if you can kind of tell again on horses, you might have to do a little peeking around there to see what sex they are, so that's pretty normal. So a little sorrel mare with a stripe and a snip if you want to be particular, and she's branded, okay? So the brand is going to be really important. So we have a little sorrel mare. Come here, go faster. So you would not be doing this, okay? If they're horses you don't know, I don't advocate you kind of pounding on anything that you've never met. So left hind sock, we got a stripe on this one. A little bit more of a star stripe, down through a snip, flaxen mane, so it has a lighter mane and tail, a little age on her. So those are the things we'd keep track of. She is branded on this side, but that's not fair for you guys to know that. You wouldn't see that from there. All right, what do I got? What is this one here? So yeah, technically this one is a roan, and we didn't really talk about specific horse colors or get in depth to it too much, but this would count as a roan horse, okay? Yes, a blue roan. We're kind of watching some horse dynamics here. Everybody, did you just see what happened? So and this is really important when you're working with groups of animals, and we might not have seen that with cattle as much because we didn't take time to really watch them individually, but there's a horse in charge in this pen. The black one, okay? So if you are working with a group of horses and there is one in charge, oh, honey, you'll notice that those horses will move off of that horse regardless of where you are. So that's going to be really important when you're moving them around, that this sorrel horse may be far more concerned about where this black horse is than where I am, okay? I am not a priority in that horse's world. And so that horse did a pretty good job. I'm going to just move him around a little bit. We'll see what happens if I just kind of move him. Go do something else. See if that one gets bossy again so we can see that. Okay? So pay attention to that. Okay? It doesn't mean that this horse is going to come attack you or anything like that. But those other horses are always going to be more aware of her. And if you look, she just gave that other horse a little gesture there where that head just turned a little bit to say, stay out of my way. Okay? Now with the horses, we want to talk about catching these guys up a little bit, how we are going to handle them individually. So a couple things on horses we'll just go over here really quick. There's different types of halters that we'll use. These little rope halters are pretty common. A lot of people might just keep those in trucks, trailers, things like that to have on hand. We also, do we have any? Yeah, we have some other web halters. So rope halters are kind of handy. They'll fit on lots of different sizes of heads, but we always have to tie it correctly. And I'll show you with an actual horse here in a second. But we always want to make sure that this is tied so that the tails of these rope halters point away from the horse's eye and not poking into their eye. And if you don't tie them correctly, they'll also slip on you, so that's important to do. So if I'm going to approach a horse, and I've got some horses that I've never met before, I always want to think about this as sort of the safety first idea, okay? So I'm going to be kind of cautious, and kind of see what that horse is doing, watch their body language compared to mine, and how they react. So horses have flight zones, just like you guys practice. They'll do the same thing. If they've been handled a lot, typically that's going to be a lot less. But if they're nervous, scared, have a different agenda, that flight zone is going to increase. But I'm always going to try to work a horse essentially from their shoulder, just like we talked about with cattle with point of balance. So that shoulder is always kind of that neutral place that I'm going to walk up into. Now, if this is a herd of horses that I've never encountered first, do I want to just go right in and get this little strawberry roan horse here?
No, you get kicked by the ball.
Right, that would be dumb. So I would be placing myself in the zone of this horse here. So I want to think about which horse is the safest for me to catch. After watching these horses, I kind of want to judge again. I don't want to get myself in the zone where this horse is going to want to push off this one. If I don't know these groups of horses, I also maybe not come catch this one where I'm directly behind this horse. So I might choose what I'm doing here a little bit more logically. You can work horses on both sides. Although we halter them, saddle them, do all these things, get on them from the left, that doesn't mean I can't certainly approach a horse's shoulder on the off side. So I can come up and kind of rub on this horse here. You can tell this one wasn't going anywhere, right? So there was no motion when I tried to approach this horse. I usually will get my hands on them. And again, if I don't know this horse from Adam, I am sneaky when I catch horses. And we'll do something like that. Now I have this horse. And if I need to move that horse away from the others, now I can get to that position I'm used to go ahead and halter that horse up. So again, just use kind of those safety first considerations. And when working with groups of horses, you really have to be aware of what the other ones are doing. So now that I have this one, it's pretty easy for me to halter her. She is pretty calm. But you can see I already always have this horse captured, okay? So when you guys, and we will let you kind of halter them, I always have a lead rope over them here, and then I like to reach across. I don't mess with their ears right away, because remember the gray horse that bit the guy? We don't want to be doing a lot of this in here, right? So kind of just casual, hold the nose open and slide it up over that horse's head. So now I'm never in that zone to cause a lot of discomfort if I have a horse that is a little weird, okay? So I can stay pretty safe doing that. Come here, dear. When I tie the knot again, I'm going to tie it so that it's facing back away from this horse, okay? Couple other tips when you're leading horses around. We want you guys to stay safe with them. Horses are not show cattle, okay? So they do not appreciate being held here on their head. So they'll actually cooperate with you a little bit better if you give them just a little bit of slack here. So they tend to lead way better than if we have death holds on their halter or hold them up by their chin. They don't really like that. This one is going to be a pretty slow horse. But I certainly am kind of always going to be aware of what's going on around me when I'm leading this little horse around. Come here, horse. And certainly safety protocol would say I'm never going to be out here not paying attention to what's going on with this horse. So kind of just some general handling principles on these horses. What's that? Oh yeah, don't do that. You never want to get a nice secure handhold on that lead rope so you can really out-muscle one. That's not going to be a good result for you, okay? So we want to lead with this
nice spiral break.
Yeah. So just a nice grab like that. Okay, we've got some pretty calm horses here, but we're going to kind of move them around a little bit and get them to do a little bit more stuff for you guys so that they will cooperate. So what Brittany has to do is kind of work that balance point on that horse. And if I'm helping her out, I might just keep this one right here while she slips into position there. So I know this one's not doing anything. I can kind of have control of this one. And a lot of times they'll stop their feet. But we'll play with this one. He showed us at least a little activity to play. Whatever. So I call them all boys. Sassy. So the vet school gave us Sassy. Come here, old one. So another thing with horses that you have to always watch for. Anybody want to anticipate what I'm going to talk about right now? Yes, so you can see that black horse is going to want to go with that blue roan. So you have to be able to slip that horse at that gate without the other one following. So just be aware of that. Horses will sometimes try to barge through with their friends when you take them out a gate. I think probably Rick talked a little bit about different tools that you can use to move cattle. So a lot of people are going to have the panels or the rattle paddles. I think I said panels, but paddles. So the little rattle paddles. Or you'll see flags being used. So this one here is actually for cattle, but it works for horses just the same. So if I need to move horses, motion will create motion in horses, so I can use things to my advantage. The nice thing about flags is they have a little sound to them as well. So I can increase my flight zone, or that distance horses are going to move from me, if I have tools of the trade. So do you see how that caused a startle reaction there? And now all of a sudden this little sorrel horse is like, oh no, I'm out of here, right? So just by me doing a little bit of extra stuff here, I can create some motion in this horse. So that can be a good thing, okay? So I'm not scaring her or creating any anxiety issues because I backed off and stopped. But if I got and thought I was real exciting here and wanted to really get this horse moving around, I can probably create a lot of stress in her pretty easy, okay? Now, is that our goal? No, so that was bad, okay? So I do not want you to do that and get that horse panicking. So if I wanted to use a tool like that, I need to gauge what's happening with that horse, and when she moves, I stop using that tool. Okay, does that make sense? So I can get these horses to move like cattle. This one has a bigger flight zone than these, but I'll still work that point of balance. This one's not going to move much, okay? So this old sorrel one here actually looks a little arthritic, so I'm going to let her take her time here. But I can use real simple things, still being patient, to move those horses where I want them to go. Okay? So same principle in cattle. If I stay quiet, I can alter where I'm at with them to move them around and send that horse where I want it to go. Okay, so pretty simple. You just let them go by you. Really the same thing as working cattle. So that's why I said you can use all these same principles that we've played with working those horses. Now, if I've just done that with them and got them all riled up, it's probably going to take me a little bit longer to get my hands on them, okay? So I have to know I got to slow down a little bit to catch them. Also, if I want to go catch this sorrel mare, it might be time for me to put my flag away, okay? So on a windy day, this is not going to help you, okay? So simple things like if you have a plasticky windbreaker on and you're trying to catch horses and your coat is making this sound, you're not going to catch them, okay? So really think about those type of things. I actually was riding one of my reiners once. We were going to work on rundowns, and it was kind of windy, and we turned the corner to start going, and the wind caught my jacket, and boy, did he go. So it was pretty exciting. So, but those are kind of some of the things that we want you guys to think about. So, Brittany, let's go ahead and turn Roni loose. Anybody know why? Yeah, to get her attention and to move that horse's hip away from her. The horse actually was super cooperative, so that was way easy. But Brittany did a great job. She clucked to that mare to get that attention to her. Did you see how the horse swiveled her hips away? That's when Brittany approached her shoulder. That would have been a terrible thing if Brittany would have been like, nope, I'm just going to go get you, okay? So some of those little subtle things of making sure that we tip that hip back away from you are going to be important. Look for those stresses. And again, you don't have to think that a stressed horse is always going to try to get you. This one actually was like, oh, okay, somebody's here to get me. She calmed down super fast. Does that make sense? Okay? Turn her back loose and let's get a volunteer. If we have a horse that's nervous like this, and you put too much pressure on her, so if I had a flag or I was using it back her on a horse that's showing you that tension in their hindquarters, she's already a little what we'd call light in the front end. Okay, so as horse people, if we see horses that are getting light in the front end, they're more likely to do more vertical things. I don't want her thinking forward. So we need to kind of slow our feet down, back off the pressure. The more confident our body language is, I always think relax. So when I try to teach people to handle nervous animals, relax. It's no big deal, right? Relax. Okay. So the lead rope, I've got tools in my hand here, but you can use your lead rope as a tool as well. So just a gentle shushing motion. So even a halter and a lead rope can be a tool, okay? So I just moved the sorrel mare actually with the halter and the lead rope. So if I need to move horses, I can do it that way. I can use my lead rope to create energy in a horse. I can create a lot of energy if I want, or I can be subtle, okay? You use as much as you need. So that's kind of a really important thing to think about. How are they doing over there? So again, I don't have to have a flag or a stick. I can ask these horses to move off of very little pressure. So a lot of people tend to do too much. So always do as little as possible. With any animal, do as little as possible to keep that stress level down. If you're in a situation where horses are getting a little strong, okay? Horses, when I showed you the video of literally somebody getting run over by a horse. But if they get strong, we always talk about taking the engine away from a horse. So the best thing you can do to get a horse to kind of get off of you a little bit, is that what you were going for? Disengage their hindquarters. So if a horse is getting pretty strong, I would actually get that horse to move its hindquarters around, because that's the power, okay? So if I take the engine or the power out of that horse, we're going to be a lot safer. But realize when horses get nervous, you may see that they throw that shoulder down into you, and they can knock you pretty doggone good if they throw that shoulder at you. So getting off of that horse a little bit where you can move them around like that is actually a lot safer. Do you want to try to get her to do it again?
I could try. She might not do it with me.
And we're kind of talking about emergencies, just getting things done safely, right? But they really do read and feel just kind of that confident body language, okay? Really confident body language. I'd encourage you to use it with cattle too. Tense, quick motion gets them tense and quick. And the more kind of matter of fact and stand your ground that you are, the better. It will kind of calm down their state of mind quite a bit. Before we do this, we're going to make sure it's all safe, that the gates are locked shut and things like that, so that once they go by, they can't get out anywhere. But you might have to get them through or past something that they're a little afraid of. So I wanted to have them walk on it, but it's not going to stay on the ground, so we're just going to go with a scary thing in the air. And so we're going to ask these horses to go up this alley. Now, certainly it would never be my choice to send a horse past a flappy movie thing. It's not something a horse is naturally going to want to go by, but it might be reality. So if you think about this is going to be a stressor for them. I don't want to add a whole lot more stress, okay? So we're going to try to do this nice and calm and ask the horses to go direction. To pay attention to when we might have added too much stress, okay? So our goal is to get them heading away. We don't want to get too close. So that's a little close. I would stay further away. I'm going to keep you guys super safe because, back up, what's going to happen if they get scared about that flappy thing? They're going to quick and come back over the top of us because they're going to be more concerned about that. So we're going to slow our feet down. There we go. And our wonderful... So sometimes less is more, okay? Less is more. Slow down. So this is the thing that I want to emphasize. Like, I was standing back here doing nothing, just watching them. I'm going to wait till my horses are ready to go forward. If you would have started pushing before they were ready, that's when they're going to come back over. So there's always, things go faster if you slow down, okay? Let that animal have a chance to think before we're going to ask them to do something. Does that make sense? So we're going to do the same thing. You guys are going to come out a little farther to make it just a little bit harder, okay? And we're going to scooch around our horses and send them back. You guys can help again. So I don't want to force up onto the horses. I'm just going to ignore them and let them come past. Again, less is more. Okay, now we're just going to stop here and wait for a second. We're going to slow things down. Our goal is to get them to go back through that fence. So when you guys think they're ready, now you're going to ask them to move. Good, very good. If you give them a chance to think, they're more likely gonna work for you, okay? When you see that they're leery about something, that's when you're more likely to have a wreck. So just slow down. You can almost feel when they're ready, okay? Can you guys see when the horses' heads are thinking go forward? Just let it happen.